If you're going to use one of the template services, Squarespace comes highly recommended. You can register your domain through them. If you're going to construct your own website using WordPress or other software, Bluehost has been recommended as a place to register your domain name. The basic building blocks of your website will include gallery pages, an about page with information about you, and then a contact form or links page. On your gallery page, one of the first things you'll have to decide is how much work you want to put on the website. Is it an archive of everything you've ever done? Is it just the most recent body of work? Is it somewhere in between? At this stage in your career, you probably only want to focus on your mature work. But as you're creating new bodies of work, you can of course separate them onto different pages, but you want to make sure that they make sense together. Possibly separate out different media. Consider how you want the viewer to interface with your images. Do you want a grid of thumbnails, images they scroll through? Should they be a fixed size, or do you want viewers to click and enlarge? Will you include details or alternate views of the work? You need to make sure that you have media descriptions. What's it made out of? Captions work well. Other artists don't include that information until you click a specific piece. Also, consider whether your practice would be well represented by some form of supplemental documentation. You could make videos of you constructing the piece, showing your process. You could give other kinds of documentation to indicate scale or setting. Consider what forms are best going to communicate the essential aspects of your work. On your About page, you'll have a bio. We'll talk more about that when we get to the components of the assignment. One thing to consider is, should you include a headshot or a studio shot of you actually working? Or perhaps a studio shot without you there. Many artists are introverts or simply wish to keep the focus on the artwork and not the artist. But I have been told repeatedly that viewers do like to be able to connect who makes the work to the work itself. Is your About page the correct place to put your CV, or do you want that as a separate download somewhere else, perhaps grouped with gallery contacts? Do you want your statement on your About page, or somewhere closer to the work on your gallery page? Do you want to combine your About page with the contact page? On the contact page, you probably want to have some way for somebody to leave you a message. At minimum, give an email address that's associated with the website that you can check. You can also include links, frequently for your social media, like your Instagram, or for galleries. If you are going to link to a gallery, make sure it opens in a separate window and make sure that it opens on your page at that gallery's website. If your software allows it, it's a great idea to include a newsletter sign-up form that can usually be combined with the contact form where people leave you messages. And you can have, either on the contacts page or separate tabs on your website, a shop, a blog, or any other outbound page. Again, when possible, get these to open in another tab or another window. You'll want to keep people on your website. When you're creating your website, be on the lookout for the opportunity to set up Google Analytics for your website. If you're using a template service, it might allow you to do it as part of the creation. Otherwise, you're going to have to contact Google Analytics independently. You want to do this for several reasons. One, Google Analytics will allow you to obsessively check how many people and from where are looking at your website. Also, filling out the forms with Google Analytics will help with your search engine optimization so that when people look up your name, your website will be more likely to appear closer to the top of the page. For your website project, you're going to have several components due at different stages. First is the website domain registration. Then on your website, you're going to have 10 images of at least 5 artworks. So you can have details or alternate views, but make sure you've got 10 good, high-quality images. You want captions for your images, be that an actual caption that appears on the page next to the image, or text that appears when you hover over the image, or whatever you think is best. But make sure that that information is accessible in some way. The final draft of your artist statement will be on your website. Should it be with your About page or with your Artwork page? Your artist's CV's final draft will also be on your website. Should it be a downloadable PDF, or do you want to include it as text on the About page? Your artist's bio probably will be the bulk of your About page, and then any other support materials that you think will help you to represent your work on your website. For the artist bio, you're going to need this not just for your website, but also for galleries and press opportunities. Your galleries will want to be able to share a brief description with potential clients. So go ahead and write an artist bio. It's going to be written in the third person, so you won't say, I am blah, blah, blah. You will say, artist's name is blah, blah, blah. You want to have at least a brief biographical narrative. Let some of your personality shine through. Let people know where you came from. Maybe you can include things like your academic or professional accomplishments. Attended CSU obviously is the most impressive thing that could be put on anybody's bio. But also you can mention if you've traveled or studied outside of school or have any other interesting background information. You probably do want at least one sentence or a brief summation of the kind of work that you do, but maybe not as much on your website as you would on an artist's bio that you're going to share with a gallery or a press. Obviously, if they're on your website, they have access to your full artist statement and the work itself.